Alleged budget paddling. Senate Godswill Akpabio at the brink of being impeached by the North. Hello viewers and welcome to InfoDis TV. The senator representing Cross Rivers North, Jarigbe, on Tuesday revealed that some ranking senators received 500 million naira projects allocated for each of them in the budget of 2024. Mr. Jarigbe made the revelation during plenary while commenting on an alleged allegation of budget padding made against the Senate by the senator representing Bauchi Central Senatorial District. Ranking senators are those who have spent more than one term of 4 years in the upper chamber. Mr. Ningi recently told our reporters that the lawmakers sought the services of a private auditors and discovered irregularities in the budget. Example, we had a budget of 28 trillion naira, but after our thorough checks, we found out that it was a budget of 25 trillion naira. How and where did we get the additional 3 trillion naira from? What are we spending it for? Mr. Ningi told our reporters. The Northern Senators, under the aegis of the Northern Senators Forum (NSF), confronted the Senate President Godswill Akpabio and has accused him of inserting projects worth 4 trillion naira in the 2024 budget. Commenting on the allegation, Mr. Jarigbe, a member of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), highlighted that the majority of the senators are guilty of the budget padding scandal because some of the senior senators got 500 million naira each from the budgetary allocations. Now, if we want to go into this issue, all of us are culpable. Some senators here, so-called senior senators, got 500 million naira each. A ranking senator I did not get. Did I go to the press? We do not have to go into those issues, Mr. Jarigbe said. The Senate President Godswill Akpabio muted Mr. Jarigbe's mic to prevent people from hearing the details of the 500 million naira. The Senate immediately erupted in a rowdy session for about 30 minutes before Mr. Akpabio directed the senators to return to their various seats. Let me read out Section 66 of our Constitution. Every senator should be seated and no noise. We must not forget that we are under strict rules of our standing order. It is important for us to obey the rules, Mr. Akpabio said while trying to control the rowdy sessions. Meanwhile, the Senate spokesperson Yemi Adaramodu, while addressing journalists after the plenary, debunked Mr. Jarigbe's claim of 500 million naira. This is the second time that the distribution of money to the senators will attract public attention. Last August, each of the senators illegally got not less than 2 million naira as allowance before proceeding on 7 weeks of vacation. The 2 million naira allowance given to the senators was illegal as no such provisions is made in the remuneration package approved Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission (RMAFC), the body authorized by law to prepare salaries and allowances for public servants. Now, during the plenary that day, Mr. Akpabio told the senators that some money had been credited to their accounts to enjoy their holiday. Now, in order to enable all of them and all of us to enjoy our holidays, a token has been sent to our various accounts by the clerk of the National Assembly, the Senate President Akpabio said. There is also no provision for token in the RMAFC's document, as stated by Mr. Akpabio while announcing the legacies to the senators. The lawmakers are, however, entitled to recess allowance under the law, which is 10% of the annual basic salary of each legislator and is paid once in a year. And according to the package prepared by RMAFC, a senator earns 2,026,400 naira and therefore gets 2,224,000 as a recess allowance per annum. This basic salary of the Senate President per annum is 2,483,242 naira and therefore receives 2,408,428 as recess allowance. On his path, the Deputy Senate President earns 2,309,166 as his recess allowance, which is now 230,916 naira. The resolution of the upper chamber was a sequel to a point of order raised by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Appropriation, Adeola Olamileka, during the plenary. Mr. Ningi, the chairperson of the Northern Senators Forum, recently told our reporters that the lawmakers sought the service of the private auditors and discovered irregularities in the budget. The Senate also suspended the Senate representing Bauchi Central Senatorial District, Abdul Ningi, for 3 months for alleging that the 2024 budget was padded with 3 trillion naira. The upper chamber also resolved that if Mr. Ningi could send an apology letter, the leadership of the Senate would therefore decide whether to lift the suspension or not. The Senate President Godswill Akpabio announced the suspension of Mr. Ningi after he was supported by a majority of senators during deliberations at the Committee of the Whole. Senator Ningi is hereby suspended for 3 months from all activities relating to the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Mr. Akpabio said. Raising the point of order, Mr. Olamileka, APC Ogun West, said his privilege as a senator and chair of the Joint Appropriation Committees of the Senate and House of Representatives, which scrutinized the budget, had been breached as a result of the budget padding allegations leveled against the 10th Assembly. He therefore urged his colleagues to intervene in the budget padding scandal to allow the public to understand the truth about the process of budget approval. I have come up with this order this morning because my privilege has been breached and because I am one of those who participated in the preparation of the budget. As chairman of the Appropriation Committee, and for what has transpired in the last few days, my privilege has been breached. My privilege has breached, and I focus on the part that affects me and not the whole interview. It is on that premise that I come up in the Senate to protect me, he said. Mr. Olamileka explained that the presidency proposed a total of 27.5 trillion naira budget, but after a series of deliberations, the lawmakers agreed to increase the budget to 28.77 trillion naira, which was unanimously approved last December. He said his colleagues resolved to increase the budget with 1.2 trillion naira due to the request for additional fundings for some items of expenditures which were not included in the bill to address issues in judiciary, agriculture and food security works, science and technology, education, water resources, National Assembly, health and national homegrown school feeding programs. He added that the benchmark of naira to the dollar was another reason members of the Appropriation Committee decided to increase the budget with an additional of 1.2 trillion naira. He also stated that notes that following the presentations of the 2024 appropriation bills of 27.5 trillion naira by the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to the joint sitting of the Senate and House of Representatives on the 29th of November 2023, and following the debate of the general principles of the bills at second readings from Thursday 30th November to Friday 1st December 2023, the bill was committed to the Committee on Appropriation for further legislative actions. Also notes that to attain the January to December budget cycle, subcommittees submitted their harmonized reports to the Committee on Appropriation, and the report of the Committee on Appropriation submitted to the Senate was unanimously passed.